Hey guys, it's been a while. I thought I'd like to talk more casually about gaming, and I'm not in the right state of mind, so I'm gonna be talking even more slurry and slow paced than usual. I know that's probably gonna be annoying to a lot of people, but I just wanted to just make a video, just find any excuse to make a video. So I came up with this idea, talking about the power of consoles versus the power of mainframe supercomputers from the past that were used to make older CGI and Hollywood films. Because right now we're on the cusp of the launch of two new very powerful consoles, the PS5 and Xbox Series X. PS5 being 10.3 teraflops with variable clock, and the Xbox Series X at 12 teraflops. Yes, we know about the power scaling. I've already gone through that before. What I haven't gone through yet is this little tidbit. Floating point calculations are never absolute. It's always variable. And no console for gaming never reaches peak estimated floating point performance. Thus, floating point isn't always the most important metric of a machine's power. Although it's always good, because you're going to need if you're not really into specs, then it can be used as a top aggregation, if you will, for variable math. That'll always be important, but it'll never be the defining or most important de facto metric when we scan the power of these units. But nevertheless, I made a comparison before that Spider-Man in 2004, its supercomputer mainframes back at Sony Pictures, when they were making the CG for that film, they were 10 teraflops in power. Now, when I say that, I don't want people to jump into the conclusion that I suddenly mean that we're going to suddenly see the same level of detail as in an older CGI film from the early 2000s or the mid 2000s. Because there's a difference between using those high-end mainframes to render something on screen fully detailed, hours and hours per frame, versus having a console to run real time to render at average 30 frames per second. You would need at least 10 to 20 times that power to catch up to that kind of CG frame, even with all the tricks we're having now. But with the power that we do have in these consoles, we can actually start running real-time older CG, such as Toy Story 1, and maybe the levels of Toy Story 2, or the render model of Godzilla 1998, even though everybody hates that film, that's just there for reference. Another thing about these consoles and about the state of technology as a whole is ray tracing. That will be a big deal this gen. It started with NVIDIA about a couple of years back, right? We're having it now. It's not going away. Why? Well, because of the problems with Moore's Law. Moore's Law is in a bad state right now. The increases in power versus cost is becoming problematic. That's why these consoles, instead of having the usual 16 times sleep we saw multiple gens before, we're now just having a double leap in RAM. That's why SSD is now more important than ever to make up for all those problems with RAM. That's always going to be important. And with ray tracing, it's been almost 50 years since the concept for computerized ray tracing was birthed, if you will. And basically, it's now or never. Thanks to NVIDIA coming up with these hardware solutions, we're now having a way to now have low resolution, lower quality ray tracing in real time on home console video games, right? And we're coming up with smarter solutions to help out with the one big factor that would ruin all of this: noise. You see, the quality of ray tracing in these consoles, and even on a 2080 Ti, it's not the expected quality you will want from a properly ray traced area, because there's lesser rays and it's lower resolution. It's going to cause screen noise. This will always be. That's why with these more advanced additional hardwares here, we're able to now have denoising solutions to help mitigate the lacking quality of this current ray tracing. And like I said, it's now or never. With Moore's Law slowing down technical evolution as we saw it, we're going to have to think outside the box to see where we can push forward in technological evolution. What areas can we do that's new? It's time to have something new. We have to start thinking outside the box again, people. That's why ray tracing right now is very important. Is it ready for prime time? Some say no. Well, a lot say no. The truth is, it's time. It's time to do something different, pushing our standards forward. We have to start rethinking how everything is built, either hardware or software. And that's why I'm glad these machines are coming out the way they are. This, like I've said before, is a much larger, much more significant, and much more satisfying leap than 8th gen was. And although I'm a Sony fanboy, both consoles are very powerful, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Much more powerful in a leap than 8th gen was. Ugh, I hate Jaguar. I can't wait to the end of the year when these new consoles come out. I'm not going to be able to buy them at launch. I won't have the money. I will not have the money. But I am going to be able to watch other people enjoy it, and I'm going to be able to watch these games in action somehow. And when my time finally comes, maybe next year, for me to have the money to get a PS5, I'll finally be able to join you guys. This was the leap I wanted. This was the leap I wanted, and I cannot feel more excited. It's so good to be a gamer again. I feel so good about this. Rejoice, everyone. Rejoice. Huzzah. Yules 1 out.